I'm Magnus Ligback. I've trained many high-profile celebrities over the years. Now it's time to answer your questions from the internet. This is Workout Support. At Madloons, how much do I have to lift to build muscle? If you work almost to failure, about 9 sets for your smaller muscles, and up to 12 to 15 sets on your bigger muscles, like your legs and the back, you're off to a very good start. It releases more testosterone in our bodies when we go heavier. We also know that being strong is actually really good for longevity. When you're lifting a weight, what happens is that you get a little micro tear in your muscle fiber. And then after, your body goes in to heal that micro tear, and that makes the muscle stronger and a little bit bigger. And that's how you build muscle. At Rushford Joe wants to know, what's the ideal amount of rest between sets? I have a rule that I rest up to 2 minutes in between my heavier exercises. So if I'm doing a squat or bench press, if I'm lifting heavy, I rest up to 2 minutes to recover. Towards the end of every session, when I do more lower weight, higher reps, and work more intensely, I try to keep the rest to 1 minute or below 1 minute. At Tiffany Pana wants to know, at Gal Gadot, how do you stay fit? I want to look like you. When I help Gal to prepare for Wonder Woman 84, your number one objective is to make sure your actor or actress do not get hurt. If your actor gets injured on set, that means you have to shut down production, and I can guarantee you, whether it's my fault or not, no one would want to hire me after that. If you look at Gal or Alicia Vikander for Tomb Raider, their strength, agility, the speed, the power, you train all those things. When working on agility, I'm a big fan of plyometrics, sprints, frog jumps, skaters. I'm an old hockey player, so there's always going to be skaters in my programs. When training men and women, the program is going to be 99% the same. There's this myth that women who are lifting heavy and do a lot of strength training is going to get bulky and big, and that is simply not true. You can lift heavy, you can train really hard and be really toned and athletic. At Ronnie Jules wants to know, tips to lose belly fat? I don't want to lose weight anywhere else though. Is that even possible? Well, I hate to break it to you, you cannot spot reduce fat. So if you want to lose belly fat, you will have to be okay with losing fat all over your body. At Johnny V4538576, why did fit people in the past have different physiques than what we consider fit today? I am looking at this bodybuilder from the early 1900s, and his chest is flat. First of all, ideals have changed. Early bodybuilders were inspired by like old Greek and Roman statues. So you can see that the chest is a little flatter here, and that comes from those statues and the ideals back then. Nowadays, when you look at modern bodybuilders, we're overtraining chest and biceps to look a certain way. Nowadays, we have all these machines. We do more isolated training today with lower weights and a lot of reps. And back in the days, they mostly used free weight, which means that you did more big compound movements, working several muscles together at one time. When I look at this picture here, this is someone who actually trained to be strong. Even though this bodybuilder here doesn't have the same low body fat or the amount of muscle mass, this is someone who I bet is stronger than half of the bodybuilders out there today. At Nayara90 wants to know, what are your top 5 compound workouts? My favorite compound exercises is squats, deadlifts, bent over row, lat pull down, and bench press. At Ant Lang 66R wants to know, how do I maintain muscle mass while cutting? It's very common when you do a cut, when you're in calorie deficit, which means you eat less calories in a day than what you're spending. You do that to shred fat. It is very common to lose some muscle mass in that process. So I don't lower my protein when I'm in a cutting phase. I lower my carbs and fat because carbs and fat are both fuel for the body, and you want to eat less fuel. You also want to make sure that you keep working out while cutting. Here's one from at Dua Lipa Fiji. Okay, Google, how to look like Alexander Skarsgård in The Northman. I was fortunate enough to work with Alexander on The Northman. He went through a really hard regimen for 6 months. Lifting heavy 5 days a week, working on shoulder mobility so he could swing that axe. In this particular movie, we knew that Alex had a spirit of a wolf and a bear. So we wanted him to look like a bear but move like a wolf. That's why we made him as intimidating as possible when building him up, but at the same time we made sure to get that mobility work in. And the difference between Alex in the Northman and the Tarzan is quite obvious. In Tarzan, it was more about growing up in the jungle, so we wanted a little slimmer look. We wanted him to be a little more cut. He had to go on a pretty strict diet 2 months before. On the Northman, we didn't have to put him in calorie deficit, so he was able to eat quite a lot of food throughout the whole movie, which he loved. A lot of time when you see a certain body part popping, like Alex's traps, it's actually posture. You can actually manipulate your body to make certain body parts stick out more. You can see that he's coming forward with his shoulder. That will automatically raise his traps up. Don't get me wrong, we did work the traps, but we didn't work them more or harder than any other part in the body. At Daily Land is asking, what's a good pre-workout routine that takes no more than 5 to 10 minutes? The most important thing about a pre-workout workout, a warm-up, is that it gets your heart rate going, makes you sweat a little, and that it warms up the muscles that you're about to work. If I'm working my lower body, I might do an exercise like this, even use a little box that you can do toe touches on. So it's really up to you, but try to activate the body part that you're working out after. At Portia Whitmore is saying, at Magnus Ligback, your legs are stunningly hot. How do you do that, Magnus? I have a sign in my gym that says, friends, don't let friends skip leg day. It is super important to have strong legs because they are going to carry you around for the rest of your life. The different glute muscles, the hamstring, the quad on the front side, calves, work your slow twitch and fast twitch fibers. Fast twitch are super important if you want to be fast and explosive. So I do sprints, I do skaters, and I do a lot of plyometrics. And a couple of my favorite exercises to build muscle mass and work my slow twitch is leg press, deadlifts, and goblet squats. And we can throw in some lunges there as well. At Who Is Lexi Anyway is saying, can someone please help me with counting my macros? I want to lose fat and gain muscles. So what's my ratio? When it comes to looking at macros, you should be eating about 30 to 40% protein and the rest 60-70% fat and carbs. Because you don't want to overeat fat and carbs if you want to lose weight. So if you want to gain muscle mass, it's crucial that you hit your targeted protein. My recommendation is that you eat 1 gram of protein per body weight total in a day. So a person who's 180 pounds should aim for about 180 grams of protein total in a day. At Jade Nicole 5 wants to know, counting macros versus counting calories. Help a girl out. Well, here's the answer. Both. There's a relationship between calories and macros. I want you to imagine that you and I are on the same 1,500 calorie diet, but I choose to eat 1,500 calories of ice cream every day, and you eat chicken, rice, and broccoli. Who do you think is going to keep their muscle mass or even gain muscle mass? Who's going to stay healthy and live a long life? It's not going to be me. But we'll both lose weight. You can dial in your macros, but overeat calories, and you won't lose weight. If you want to lose weight, you need to be in calorie deficit. You need to eat less calories in a day than what you're spending. At Kune Kun wants to know, bodybuilding friends, when training for mass, would going to failure on every set be ideal, or would training to failure only on the final set of the particular exercise be better to prevent exhaustion? You don't need to train to failure every single set. That would be mentally really, really hard, and it would also increase the risk of getting injured. What matters really is the training volume, the weight that you're picking up, how heavy is it, how many reps are you doing, how many sets are you doing, and time under tension. For how long are you doing it? I would say the sweet spots are about 2 reps from failure. Go as heavy as you can without compromising on good form. At Femme Vitali LLC asks, protein powder. What are the different types of protein powder, and is it beneficial? Yes, it is beneficial, and there's many different types of protein powder. The most bioavailable protein powder out there is whey protein alongside with egg protein. And we talk about bioavailability on your body's ability to take it up and absorb it. Vegan protein sources are a little lower when it comes to bioavailability, so you might have to eat a little more of it. If you're vegan, you also want to make sure that you get a mix of different protein types, because most vegan protein sources don't contain all the amino acids. And it's important that you get a full amino acid profile for your body to take it up and use it. If your weight's 200, you want to eat up towards 200 grams of protein per day. The average size egg contains 6 grams of protein. So that will give you an idea how hard it is to actually eat enough protein in a day. So that's why a protein powder can assist and help you. At Elliot Crush asks, what's the difference between a celebrity personal trainer and a regular personal trainer? Do celebrities have different bodies? No, they don't, Elliot. I worked with hundreds of pop artists over the years, on tour, off tour. When I'm traveling with an artist and it's show day, for me it matters what time we get up, what type of breakfast we have. I handle nutrition, I handle mental and physical warm-ups and cool-downs. Something that I always do with my artists before they go on stage is to work the postural muscles, the spine muscle erector spina, to open up airways and to relax the throat muscle. Then I also make sure that they sweat a little bit so they're warmed up when they get up on stage. I think, though, that we need to look at high-performing celebrities, artists, or actors like top athletes. At Charles T. Onion wants to know, how many rest days are needed after a good gym session? I'm currently on rest day 731, and I'm not sure if my muscles are ready to go back yet. Try to work out about 5 days a week in the gym. No more than 6, but at least 3 times. Another rule of mine is that you don't work the same muscle group 2 days in a row. Allow the muscle group that you've been working on to rest and recover for at least 48 hours. Hansel de Haro wants to know, should you be drinking water during your workout? Not necessarily. I'm a big fan of drinking water before it's actually in your body while working out. It is extremely popular to drink all these electrolyte drinks. You don't really need that unless you're doing something that makes you sweat for several hours. So there's no benefit of chugging Gatorade for a 60-minute workout. At Diet Nutrition wants to know, plateaus. What is a plateau and how do I know if I hit it? Well, a plateau is when you feel like you are not seeing a progress. I normally eat around 2,200 calories to maintain my body weight, but I decide to drop down to 2,000 calories a day. I will lose weight, but after a while, as my body weight drops, 2,000 calories is exactly what I need just to maintain. So that means I'm going to hit that plateau. Let's say I'm 220 pounds and my goal weight is 200 pounds. Take your goal weight, multiply that with 12. 200 times 12 is 2,400. So I should be eating 2,400 calories every day to get to 200. That's how it works. At Marisou Art wants to know, what would be best for fat loss? Faster workout or watching TV with my fat, warm, fluffy cat? I got good news for you, Marisol. You can watch TV with your cat and lose fat, because it all comes down to nutrition. You need to be in calorie deficit to lose fat. There's no proof that a fasted workout would be better than a non-fasted workout. You could actually argue quite the opposite, that you don't have enough energy to really make the most of that workout. At Langley Donovan wants to know, at Magnus Libak, hi Magnus, do you have a fat body percentage that you try to maintain or aim for year round? I don't feel like I need to walk around with 10% body fat. Once you hit 12%, you're going to be able to see a six-pack. And below 12%, you have to work pretty darn hard on your diet. I would say 15 is about average for us men. A professional bodybuilder you see on stage, they carry about 3-4% of body fat. When you're looking at an actor in a superhero movie, their body fat can drop as low as 5-6%. But that's not really sustainable. It's also not good for your hormones and your longevity to keep your body fat too low for too long. At Sultry Katsuran, fitness question. I've always been curious about this, but how exactly do people measure what percentage body fat they have? The best method is what we call a DEXA scan, which looks like a big MRI machine, and then you get exactly the amount of muscle mass you have. If you're not going to a doctor to do an expensive DEXA scan, you have several options that you can buy online. So here we have a digital body fat analyzer. It will send out the signal from one hand to the other. What I don't love is that it won't give you an accurate reading. You see, it's only reading your upper body, not your lower body. You can use it for progression, but you have to take that number with a grain of salt. This is probably my favorite tool to measure body fat. It's a caliper. And the way you use this is that you pinch thigh, your belly, and your back or chest. But here's the thing. Whatever that caliper is going to show you is just a number. Ask yourself, how do I feel? That should be an important thing. At Jane L. Gibson book is saying, I'm rubbish at push-ups. Need to build up my strength. Any suggestions? Well, there's many different ways you can get better at push-ups. You want to find an exercise that's lighter on your chest, but gives you the same type of movement. So doing a push-up on your knees is excellent. You can do push-ups on this table with your feet down, and that's going to be much lighter for you. Work with a less incline until you can do a flat push-up. To do the perfect push-up, lower your shoulders, hands under your chest, slow down, explosive on the way up. Chest is the only thing touching the floor. At Christina Ina is saying, real question, how long of cardio do you actually do? If it's for longevity, research supports that it's much better for your heart to do high-intensity interval training for anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes, at least 3 times per week. It can be a row, it can be on a treadmill, anywhere from 20-30 seconds up to 2 minutes of maximum capacity. Then we'll rest. If you do 2-minute sprint, we'll rest between 1 to 2 minutes. Then we'll do it again. Anywhere between 3 up to 10 times. At Legendary HNF is saying, I love resistant bands. Do you use resistant bands? Yes, I do. I love resistance bands. This is what we call the super band, a longer one. And this is a mini band, which is great for working your lower body. And I always travel with these. This is what I use when I pump my actors up behind the camera in between scenes. I'll stand with these bands and I'll pump an actor up to make sure that the right muscle looks the way it should in front of the camera. So when I travel, let's say I'm at a hotel room, the hardest thing to do without any equipment is to work your shoulders and your back. So one of my favorite exercises is a row, when I attach this to something and then I pull. Another one is when you step on the band and you lift up to the sides, which is a lateral raise. Same thing for a bicep curl. You can just step on the band and curl. Without the band, that becomes really difficult. At Sipora Saki wants to know, what's a good pre-workout routine and drink? Drop some for me. My number one favorite pre-workout is coffee. It's 100% natural. It's going to help you with your focus, and it's definitely going to wake you up. At Manic Cannibal wants to know, how does creatine work? Is it supposed to be a pre-workout or a post-workout? You want to eat about 5 grams of creatine per day, and you can take it at any time. Creatine has been around for a long time, and it's actually one of the supplements that we know is beneficial for you. What creatine does for you is that it puts energy into your muscle cell, which will give you that extra rep or make you a little more explosive. So basically, it will give you more energy. At Training Table wants to know, what can you do to get exercise in during a day when you sit at a desk? I got a great exercise that I like to do at a desk. And basically, you put your hands down and you press down with about 20-30% of your power. And then you suck in your belly button and you engage the core. You lean forward a little bit and you feel that core engaging. And then you hold it for 30 to 60 seconds. And this is actually working your spine and your core. And this is what we call an isometric exercise, which means it's static. At Everyone H8 Manny wants to know, what's your favorite post-workout routine for recovery? My favorite post-workout routine for recovery is laying on the couch and watch a movie. There's so much talk about optimal recovery, ice baths, Theraguns, and they're all great. But you know what? If you work hard 5 days a week, you deserve to lay on the couch and take it easy. So those are all the questions for today. Good luck on your fitness journey. Be kind to yourself, work hard, and enjoy life. Thank you for watching Workout Support.